Hello, everyone. Welcome, guys. I wanted to apologize. I was attempting to go live today, and I just couldn't figure it out. I guess the way that YouTube works, once you get 1,000 followers, they make it really easy for you to start going live. But so right now it's kind of difficult for me because I only have 250. So boost my account, share it, get more subscribers. Once we hit 1,000, that's when I'll start doing all the live streams because you could just do it right off your phone. It's super simple. But I wanted to switch it up today. I thought it'd be cool to talk about XLM and Stellar. It's a lot of people ask about it. They're really similar in a way. Actually, the founder of Stellar Lumens and the XLM, he actually helped found Ripple with David Schwartz and Chris Larson. So he has a long history in this space. He's really smart. I'll show you a video with him. You could tell he's on like the right path as far as his thinking. And they're also making a lot of big moves in the real world. So you could see as we scroll down, we talked about this the other day, cross-border payments, make it possible to send and trade digital representations of all forms of money, dollars, pesos, Bitcoin, pretty much anything. It's designed so all the world's financial systems can work together on a single network. Sounds like the Internet of Value as well. It's all with the stars, the galactic stuff too. Stellar makes money better. But I want to show you guys the partners. So they're a partner with IBM. IBM's a pretty big force in the internet. Like you'll probably see a lot of times when you go out to stores, I started to notice this when I was researching all this. When you swipe your card, start paying attention to like the actual thing that you're using, the payment system, and then like look up who's part of those payment things. So I went to the mall the very next day after reading about XLM, and I swiped my card at I think a Levi's store, and it was IBM. And that's what convinced me. I was like, oh, everyone always says XLM is for retail, and then this is just a speculation, guys. It's good to get your mind thinking in new ways. And then Ripple is more for the banks, the underlying thing. So that's when I became a believer in that whole theory, because a lot of times when you swipe your card just around like malls, it's ran by an IBM computer. Yeah, so that's observing things in real life and then seeing how it can make an impact. So we could also go over to the official IMF website. You'll find that Daniel Dixon, our CEO with Stellar, Jed McCabe, the founder, he designated her as a CEO. She used to help run Mozilla Firefox, I believe. So she was on the panel for cross-border payments in 2020. You can see proof of an article. This is what she looks like. She's talking about it. So this is Jed McCaleb's whole vision. I'll show you guys right here.
As I started to learn more about how payments work in the world, it just became really clear to me that there needed to be this universal payment network, right? There needed to be essentially a way that no matter what financial institution you use, whether you're at a bank or like some mobile money thing or like Venmo or whatever, or you know, you're using one currency and someone else is using another, all of these things should be interoperable, right? It should work like the internet does. So the analogy we always use is basically the SMTP is the underlying protocol for email, right? And it basically means where you don't have to care if, you know, somebody's at a university or a company or whatever, as long as they're running a mail server, you can send a message to them, right? And the same should be true of payments, I think. And so that's what Stellar is designed to be, is this universal payment network, essentially. So we started 3 years ago.
There you go. There's his vision on a universal payment network, the Internet of Value, so money can move quicker, and just like the internet, like sending emails. Same vision. They're probably just playing different roles in this new financial system. But he has a really interesting statement about Bitcoin in 2014. Let me show you what he says. Sorry, I'm getting a bunch of text.
there's a first iteration, and then like people improve upon it and make better and better versions. So I was just thinking about ways to improve upon Bitcoin and like namely get rid of the mining, which I think is a big problem, both in terms of like environment and environmental impact and like economic impact, and like the fact that it'll actually will break in the long term. But there's a first iteration, and then like people.
So let's go over what he said. He said there's a first generation and then there's a second generation. He's like, we can always improve upon things. He mentioned about the energy and what that's the big narrative. That was in 2014. He was saying Bitcoin would have problems with the energy usage. We just seen Iran get pissed and seize a bunch of Bitcoin mining because they blamed them on energy crisis. He predicted exactly what was going to happen. So like that's when I'm thinking about my investments, I want to have the good, like Elon Musk, if he puts his name behind something, it's gonna blow up, right? Because he's a smart guy. So I want to invest into smart people. He seems smart. He saw the future. That means that's who I want to have my money invested into. So I don't think I brought this up yet, but if you've been following my pages, we recommended people to. This is not financial advice, but we had people hyped up about it at around 7 cents. Everybody was hyped up at 7 cents. So we're already up massively. So it's all wins from here. I totally understand if you guys wanted to take profit by now. But I think long run, this is going to be a great investment, just like Ripple and XRP. Excuse me. Okay, so XRP, we've been talking about the whole theory about it wanting to be a world reserve currency, right? So here's proof. On their website, I don't know if it's still up. This used to be up, or I don't know if it's still. With 2017 now well underway, we remain hard at work, focused on adding exciting new features to the RCL and further improving the performance, stability, and quality of the Ripple open source code base. Most importantly, we remain more committed than ever to the one simple goal of making XRP the world's reserve digital currency. Wow. So that was actually on their website at one point, making this a world's reserve currency. And yesterday we talked about the guy saying the future, and this is Val Jester Locke. He's a good guy to follow. He's pretty cool. So, and we just had watched that one video yesterday where the guy said the new world reserve currency will probably be a basket of currencies. So there's probably gonna be more than one, like gold, this thing, XRP. So they had the, like, and then all the big partners that they have, they're already they're helping them make this internet of value, this open coin network. So connect the dots. So here's Greg Kidd in 2015, and he's a chief risk officer at Ripple Labs, and he's speaking up to the Senate of Canada in 2015.
Thank you, Chairman Gerstein, Deputy Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Greg Kidd. I am the Chief Risk Officer of Ripple Labs, a technology company that builds payment tools for financial institutions. Previously, I worked on payment systems at the United States Federal Reserve and advised financial institutions on risk and governance. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to meet with you today. I commend your leadership in investigating virtual currencies and other emerging technologies. I'm pleased to offer an overview of Ripple and address any questions you may have. Ripple Labs is based in San Francisco and employs a team of 95 men and women with experience in government and regulation, finance and technology. Their previous experience includes Federal Reserve, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the NSA, Goldman Sachs, Deloitte, Apple, and Google. Our goal is to create faster, safer, and more efficient payment systems domestically and across international borders. In my view, a large portion of today's inefficiencies in payments stem from antiquated infrastructure. In many countries, the technology underpinning payments was last updated in the 1970s and was not designed with interoperability in mind. Because systems are not compatible, banks have to rely on a patchwork of intermediaries to move funds, a process which introduces risks, delays, and costs. Ripple Labs aims to improve payments by offering modern, interoperable payment infrastructure for registered financial institutions, clearinghouses, and central banks. As Ripple is payment technology for financial institutions, consumers may never know their transactions are being sent through Ripple, just as they have little to no knowledge of the ACH and wire rails that facilitate their payments today. Our technology is designed to minimize payment and counterparty risk, reduce costs, and enable connectivity between banks and payment networks. Before discussing the technology we use, I want to highlight that Ripple's technology fully complements existing regulations. When using Ripple, a financial institution's responsibility for OFAC reporting, anti-money laundering, compliance, know your customer requirements, and other regulatory reporting stays fully intact, just as with existing payment rails. This reflects Ripple Labs' view that ensuring robust security, consumer protections, and safety are crucial as we move toward improving payment systems. I would like to highlight two aspects of Ripple technology that are most relevant to the committee's work: a shared ledger and a virtual currency. At the core of a financial institution is its ledger, which is used to keep track of all the customers' balances. As each bank and payment system have their own ledger, they must rely on intermediaries or clearinghouses to make payments across different ledgers. This process adds delays, costs, and risks to payments. Ripple uses a shared ledger that enables transactions to be completed in real time, 24/7, 365 days a year, direct from the sending to the receiving bank. This eliminates intermediaries and minimizes risks and costs. While today's systems requires regulators to piece together several banks' ledgers to track funds, Ripple's shared ledger stores all payment records in one location, giving complete visibility into transactions and vastly improving traceability.
Wow, this is incredible. So let me slow down because a lot of people say they can't hear me after I play a video. So he's basically saying that we're going to cut out all of the intermediary banks, and like this the reason why a lot of these shady people don't want Ripple to succeed, like let's say like Nancy Pelosi, because they're funneling their money to all these sketchy banks, and then it makes it really hard for these regulators to audit all like 4 different banks or like an offshore bank to see if someone's doing like some crazy crime. So he's actually saying how this is actually a real currency. And if we know who Greg Kidd is, he's the one exchange that's 100% behind XRP right now. He's the owner of Uphold. You think he knows something that we don't? He knows that he's already done. He used to work with Ripple, I think back in 2015 as their chief of risk executive advisor. And this guy used to work with the Federal Reserve and some of the top regulators in the world. So I think I like what he's saying.
Ripple's shared ledger enables greater transparency and more direct point-to-point payments, improving banks' compliance capabilities and supporting regulators in their anti-money laundering efforts. In addition to the ledger, Ripple utilizes a virtual currency referred to as XRP, but in a very different way than most virtual currencies are being used today. As your previous hearings have noted, a majority of virtual currencies are marketed to consumers to be used as means of exchange and a store of value. This poses serious liquidity, volatility, and security risks for consumers. Within Ripple, XRP is used very differently, as a security mechanism and as an optional bridge between currencies. Each financial institution that uses Ripple is required to hold a small reserve of XRPs to be used as a postage stamp on transactions. With each transaction, a portion of XRP is destroyed, typically equating to a tiny fraction of a cent. This imposes a small cost on transactions, yet makes overwhelming the network with illicit traffic or a denial of service attack prohibitively expensive. In this way, XRP helps secure the network from attack and ensures its resiliency and reliability. The other use case for XRP is as an optional bridge between currencies. If a bank needs to make a payment for a customer to a recipient in another country, the bank may choose to use XRP as a low-cost, efficient bridge between the sending and receiving currencies. XRP lowers the reserve requirements for making cross-border payments. However, use of XRP
Wow, so that's an incredible video right there, guys. You should watch the whole thing. And everything that we've been saying, he said in front of the Senate. So anybody that says, hey, it's a scam, why do you have a former Federal Reserve guy speaking in front of the Senate saying exactly the same thing that we're saying? So I thought this was a little quick video for you guys today. I'm going to go get some food, and we'll be back tomorrow.